Welcome back to Ferocious Education, this is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about Virgin Galactic once more as a quick update. So I'm going to be discussing short interest, institutional buyers, technical analysis, and what I think about this one. And so without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So Virgin Galactic, I did talk about this one not long time before. I believe it was back on June 27th, and we covered all the latest updates in terms of news and what I thought about this one, technical analysis. But we do have 2 more additional days of data that we can go back on and start seeing on technical analysis how it's performing. And in the last video I did talk about the short interest that is currently on the short float of around 2026. Meanwhile, the short interest appears to be still somewhat stable around the 30% level. In fact, even with the volumes picking up, increasing from anywhere in the lower 10s and 20s to almost 261, and yesterday on Monday around 110 million shares. And what we get to see is the short volume between yesterday and on Friday. You're seeing a very close to around 110 million shares, or very close around there, being on the short volume side. The current float for this company is 169 million itself. So you get to see very close to the entire float has been traded on the short volume side in the last 2 trading sessions, which is massive. And you get to see that the short volume or short float itself is around 2026, although the short volume or short interest per day is sitting around 30%. And we get to see that there is availability of around 1.8 additional million shares to be shorted. That's based on today on the 29th. So there's definitely still some area there where people can still buy shorts on it, or technically sell or short sell stocks. And what we get to see on institutional buyers, it appears to be a bit mixed. So on Vanguard, you get to see they reported around 25,000 shares. Now you get to see domestic long short equity. Some short funds have increased their short position on it on the 29th. Specifically ADMQX, AGAQX, and PASIX, which are all different strategy investments, funds, and investor classes. You get to see Moon Erickson, for instance, added 117,000 shares on Friday. John Hancock, 659, is not much. Fidelity Market Index Fund, 24,000 shares. And you get to see that in general, there's been a lot more addition than selling, which is definitely a good thing. And when we're looking into the last different upgrade or downgrade, we get to see that Alembic Global Advisors downgraded it on June 28th from overweight to neutral, which is not really something that we really care about as much because the average price target is around 29.40, which is around 37.47% downside from where we're at right now. Now the stock dropped more than 10% today, which means that there is something called an SSR, a short sale rule, which in short basically says that short sellers or short selling itself has restrictions for today and tomorrow, which is a good thing to encourage for the stock's price to stabilize. Now, on the other side, from what we're seeing, is that in terms of news, they've been a little bit quiet. But before going on towards technical analysis, if you'd like to see more contents like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right corner and turn on your bell notifications button. And don't forget to drop a like to this video, and if you'd like to join our Discord, you can click down in the comments below. It's totally free. I'll talk a bit more about the Discord later on in the video, and let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, on the 1 month, 1 day perspective, the moving averages itself appears to be a bit mixed, so bear with me on this one. So first off, the 10 SMA is above the 30 EMA, which is a very bullish thing. And between the two, there's something called the trading action zone, where most positive reversals occur, and that's between 42.38 and 36.06. Another thing that is happening is a golden cross, which is the 50 SMA, the 50 simple moving average, is crossing the 200 SMA, which is a 200-day version of that. And when it does that from the bottom, it's called a golden cross, which is a very bullish sign, usually a sign for a breakout. Now, on the other part, the ADX, it's above 50. That's where you start expecting reversals to occur. And it looks like we're seeing that pull back from $57.51 to $47. And on the Willing Percent R, it's a bit on neutral, but one of the highest oversold sections we've seen. And oversold means technically in a momentum area, you would have more buyers come in, pushing this one higher. In terms of the MACD, it's cooling down a little. It's going probably to attempt a negative reversal later on this week, but you get to see it went up on the histograms and then now it's dropping. And that's a bit of an alarming thing, but momentum is still very positive at the 1192 level. And in terms of stochastic fast and stochastic slow, what we get to see here is that it is very bullish. However, they're both dipping down a little, which suggests that you need to look at where the next support level is lying at. On the moving average bands, which is, by the way, the Bollinger Bands, etc., are volume momentum bands itself, you get to see that this one is expected to trade on the top around 51.73 and in the bottom around 24.93. Now, volumes have been dropping day after day after day, which is usually a very strong indication that trouble might be near, and you might actually have the price points more stabilize and accumulate. Now, in terms of all the moving averages itself, those are all pinpointing upwards. And what you might actually see is that every time it does that, it needs a stabilization part. And the scary part is that instead of it going down and then just bouncing a little bit up, it can go down a lot faster. And you get to see that you get a bit of a push and then almost a sell, right? And it's kind of almost the same thing you see in the stock market, and that's totally normal. Currently, we're in a recovery phase, so we need to be very careful where the next resistance is and the support. For this, I like to also use Fibonacci retracements for one reason. High frequency traders, institutional buyers, keep in mind onto this one. And if you're on our Discord, there's literally a command on the bot. You can easily get those at any given time. Now, the current support on the Fibonacci retracements on Virgin Galactic, it's around 44.30 currently, 28.57, 32.85, 25.76, and 14.27. The current resistances on the Fibonacci retracements are 52.46 and 62.80. If we were to use price line actions, we're able to see that there was a very strong support that is now a resistance at the 47.14. And then above there, in terms of resistances, another strong one at 48.97 and 50.08. Above there, 53.17 and up to 54.36. And then upwards to 57.14, 58.64, and then to the $63. Current supports. And this is a very, very important one. So keep in mind that you might want to put your stop loss underneath there if you want to start taking some profits out. 45.79 is a very, very strong support. If it does break that, you might go to 45.08. And then from there on, another very strong support that if it does break it, we might be in trouble around the $43. And then the next support below there you're looking at is 41.83. And then the next very strong one at 38.65. And then below there you're looking at 37.70. And then another very strong one around 34.93. And then below there, you're looking into 30.72. And then below there, you're looking into 27.63. And then down to 23.90. And then down to 22.63, 20.33. And then down towards closer to the $17 and 15.17. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? Well, definitely it's been in trouble right now. It did open up closer on the Monday onto the top and then just start plummeting. And when I give you these supports and these key supports is that each one of them could be a potential stop loss limit, depending on what risk and how much you can willing to lose versus win. You know, it's a high risk, high rewards kind of program in this stock market. And so really the question here is, when should you sell? Well, it depends. What is your purpose? Are you trading this? If you're trading this, if you came in from the 14.27, you might want to start considering taking in some profits on there. But if you're in from the $63, things a little bit are different. You might want to sell and double down. You might want to average down, etc. So it really is depending on where you see the holding time is. Are you holding this one for the next 10 years? If so, then $63, you don't need to worry about that. That's just an entry level point. And then you can average down if it does drop below to closer to 20s. And I really doubt that's going to happen. But that's usually the stock market, because people who bought 63 and average down, let's say even at around $20, their average is around $40. They're still profitable at this point, even though they initially bought at $63. So keep in mind that the stock market is more about where you're seeing the stock going on. If you believe in a company, it should be a safer hold. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.